This is the only way I can start this video like this. I can't even begin off by yelling. I was not ready for that. Like, I knew it was coming. Since they, revealed the rules forever ago saying, hey, if you get defeated or knocked out, you get erased. We all knew the Universe 6 was going to go. But it just sucks because, like, unlike Universe 9, even Universe 10, who we kind of got connected to, Universe 6, we grew up within the series. Champa, to the Champa tournament, to even seeing the small stuff like the baseball game between Universe 6 and Universe 7. You got attached to that universe. You guys might not like Khalifa and Kefla, or Khalifa and Kale, or Kefla that much. But, a lot of you guys do enjoy Hit. You guys like freaking Kabe. You like Botama Yamageta. And Champa, like, it just, I wasn't ready. I just wasn't ready. So, I want to say, rest in peace, Universe 6. Everybody in the comment section, feel free to just say that down below as well. But, let's talk about the episode. What is going on, my super sandwiches? Rhymestyle here. There's the intro. Episode 118 was actually absolutely amazing. I gotta say, the one thing that Dragon Ball Super always kind of fails to utilize it is they tend to have episodes that are like really action-packed, super intense. You get the comedic ones, you get the ones that are kind of all over the place, but you still tend to enjoy. But they always manage to fail to basically have like the perfect episode. Like they got exciting episodes, but they don't always have the perfect episode. This had a good chemistry of everything that I enjoy in watching the anime. It had emotion, it had action, it had execution, it had writing. It was just, everything was just amazing about it. And then of course the ending, which we'll talk about in a second. But I gotta say 2 thumbs up to whoever was in charge of that episode, that entire team. Amazing. Alright, let's talk what happened. There were actually 3 major factors in the actual episode. The first one was being the continuation of Universe 2 taking on Goku 17 and 18. And the second one is Gohan and Piccolo taking on Saunel and Purina. And then the third part really isn't the part that happened in the actual episode, but more of the ending / the next episode preview, which we'll talk about at the very end, because obviously it's the end of the episode. So at the beginning, I will say this. The one thing I didn't really like about this episode is the fact that even though Ribrianne was knocked out, we still had Ribrianne all over this episode. Like, I could never expect to see the remaining fighters from Universe 2 to actually transform Ribrianne style, Rosie style, and the other character, I forgot her name, why'd I forget her name? Doesn't matter. The other character that was knocked out forever ago. They transformed basically into their forms because they had the love from Universe 2. And apparently they were broadcasting the entire thing to Universe 2, so they were watching. So they're kind of cheering them on. And I guess all the energy ended up getting through to them and powered them up to transform, basically continue what Ribrianne and her crew started. Just they're not Ribrianne and her crew, but they're the other crew, the last remaining warriors. So I guess the spirit of Universe 2 powered them up to kind of have like that one last assault against Goku 17 and 18. Now something that bugs me, and maybe somebody else might know this, if Universe 2 is so much full of love, why is it a bad universe? Is it like too much love? Is that why? Like, is it because to them, like, what they see as beauty isn't exactly beautiful, or what? Because, like, it's kind of weird, because you would think that with how amazing Universe 2 looks and how it's full of love and positivity, it shouldn't be ranked so low in the tournament, and they shouldn't even participate in the tournament in the first place. So the only theory that I can think about, the reason why they did, is because what they see as love is basically one way, and what others may see as love isn't. Like, for example, when we start Ribrianne saying, oh, Krillin's hideous and disgusting, you can't love that. Maybe that's why. So if you want to talk about theories about that, feel free to discuss it down below. But I find it interesting that, a universe that's basically all about happiness and love was on a lower rank of mortals, which led them to be in a tournament. But beside the point. Anyways, they get powered up, the last remaining warriors, and they even get powered up to the point where they basically pull off a move that's so impossible to pull off that even Ribrianne and her crew couldn't pull off. Apparently, they essentially created like a black hole, like a little heart, that they tossed at Goku 17 and 18, and their plan was to just have them sink all the way down. Like, they couldn't escape at all. To which Goku, having some kind of super soul or Z soul, I don't know what this man has equipped at this point. He happens to tap into more power once again, and he fires the Kamehameha out and knocks out the remaining warriors. I don't understand how this man keeps getting power, but according to Whis, he keeps figuring out ways to break out of his shell, although it's getting more and more difficult to achieve Ultra Instinct from how they made it sound. But it's just, the thing that's kind of confusing is just the fact that he keeps getting power, but it's like, how? You're tired. Granted, I know when, Khalifa and Kale had their first fight many episodes ago, and they went to go rest, their resting was only a couple of minutes. And granted, he wasn't fighting at full power against these characters, therefore you could technically kind of rest in between. It wasn't as intense, but still, like, bro, you just fought Kefla, you just fought Jiren, where are you getting your energy from? So hopefully, maybe at some point, they end up explaining that to us. Because that's the only question I have, is like, how are you still fighting, man? And they even pointed out, like, Universe 7 was the one that's been getting continuously attacked by everybody, Yet they've won every single fight, but the flaw is they're running out of power and stamina. So I just don't get, like, where does this man get his power from other than the fact that he's Goku and he has plot armor. So I don't know. Feel free to discuss that down below. So like I said, I wasn't the biggest fan of the fact that they still kind of brought Ribrianne's spirit back into the episode. But I will say this: the one thing I did enjoy was at the end when they got knocked out, they were just happy and they kind of went out with a smile and grace, and I like that a lot. You know, like, I mean, granted, they did that last time too when they got knocked out. They were still happy that they were still in and they believed in the universe to win. But like, I like that part, but everything else I was kind of like, just get off the screen. Now, my favorite part of the episode, finally, we get some Gohan and Piccolo action that was amazing. Now, we get the first secret that's revealed. This entire time, I figured Saunel and Purina, the Universe 6 Namekians, that their power was going to be, or their secret weapon, was going to be that they're fused together. Close. Apparently, as they started fighting, and I noticed this the second it happened, as they started fighting, something snapped in them, and all of a sudden, what's his face, both Piccolo and Gohan sensed a bunch of, like, powers within them. My first thought was, oh my gosh, this man had to have probably fused with so many Namekians to gain that power. But my first thought was it had to be, like, the entire planet, but they ended up confirming that they had volunteers, so I guess not everybody. So literally, it was like the power of, like, almost all of Namek, or however many Namekians, you know, volunteered in these two bodies, in Saunel and Purina. And apparently they were holding that, like, trying not to be as aggressive and kind of like get used to that power still, because it's pretty overwhelming. I mean, if you guys remember when freaking when Kami fused with Piccolo, it's like they were still kind of like, you know, it's like his even Nail, but Nail was still inside of him. It was still kind of like the what's the word? The consciousness was still inside you. And imagine you absorb so many different Namekians inside you. You have all those voices and feelings and everything inside you. So they probably had, you know, they were restraining themselves the entire time because they were getting used to that. Because, like, imagine just having, like, hundreds of, probably even thousands of voices inside you talking all at once. But turns out that was their power. And even though it was a good way to counter against Gohan and Piccolo, it wasn't enough. I love the fact that, you know, they had the whole father-son action where Gohan and Piccolo were fighting together. But even the father-son style Kamehameha situation type of thing, where they had basically Gohan holding them back while Piccolo charges a blast. And then, of course, just at the same time when freaking Goku fired his Kamehameha out, Kamehameha out at Universe 2, Gohan fired his out and blasted him, and just as they were holding it back and had this epic beam struggle, freaking Piccolo fires his out, blasts straight through Saunel and Purina, and that ends up knocking both of them out. And that's when, unfortunately, we see the exit of the Universe 6, which I wasn't ready yet. But that was just amazing. Like, yo, if you guys can keep doing this in even the next arc, I'm all for it. Like, the thing about Dragon Ball Super, the biggest critique that they had in the show when it first started is, like, its production wasn't as good as it could have been. What they've been doing in this entirety of this arc so far, even technically this started happening around the end of the Champa arc, closer to, you know, the Trunks arc to where we are now. They definitely stepped up their production, but this has been incredible. It's super entertaining, and as long as they keep pumping that out, I'm all for it. Granted, I still, you know, end up enjoying the episodes that aren't as up to par, but this was actually fire. I don't, like, if you don't like this episode, why? Let me know. Like, I'm curious to see what people didn't like about it. I mean, everybody has that one thing, whether it be the fact that they still had Ribrianne in a way, or the execution is quite up to your liking. But in the comment section below, I would love to hear from you guys what it is that you didn't like it, if you just absolutely hated this episode. And by the way, this is if you hated this episode, like absolutely hated. Why? Alright, so now we have the ending, which I want to discuss. So, something I saw people talking about is, what if Vegeta gets triggered to the point when Kabi gets knocked out, that he brings out Ultra Instinct that way and goes into basically attack mode. That's kind of what the community is talking about. At first I thought, well, nah, I mean, granted, I know Vegeta and Kabi have this whole mentor relationship type of thing. Vegeta hasn't really been that top person to care. But that came out several times now in this arc. You know, when he saved Kabi the first time, and then he tried to, you know, put off an excuse saying, oh, I just wanted to help you for whatever reason. To when we see him literally, Kabi gets eliminated and Vegeta gets angry, and he's facing off against that dude from the last episode, and he's like, you know what, I'm in a bad mood. He is affected. So I hope that this, like, helps him kind of trigger to get more power, and we get some Vegeta action, because again, we have not gotten much Vegeta love in this arc. Like, come on, give us some Vegeta love. So I want to see Vegeta take out the other guy and then probably take on Toppo in the next couple set of episodes, and then finally give us that airtime for this man, because he deserves it. But yeah, so next week we have Invisible Warriors. So Universe 4, the rat universe, Kitela, he has had a secret weapon, and according to the next episode preview, they're invisible. They didn't explain how or what exactly they're doing, but if you guys remember when they first, you know, showed that entire team, I think it was Tien who mentioned, oh, they don't have 8 warriors. There's someone else there. There's a faint key, but they don't know what it was. So apparently they have a secret weapon that they're gonna have to face up against next week. And again, Universe 7 is just pounded on. They're so out of energy. But the question I want to ask you, of the last remaining warriors for Universe 7, who do you think is going to go out next? Let me know in the comment section below. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it's gotta be 18 and 17. Well, I love 18 and 17. I feel like they've kind of done their deed already. They were amazing so far, but I feel like they're also on towards the end of their airtime. Let's call it that. They're probably gonna get knocked out within the next 2 episodes. I feel like. But then again, also the Gohan and Piccolo are there as well. But I feel like Gohan will most likely be there to the very end, because like I just don't think Gohan has done a bunch of awesome stuff so far, but not as much yet. And this episode is probably his best airtime so far in his arc. So I feel like he still has something else major to do before he gets knocked out. But 17 and 18, they already kind of had those episodes, so I think they're gonna go out next. So what do you guys think about that? Let me know in the comment section below. But I gotta say, like, I wasn't ready, man. Oh my gosh, poor Universe. And then, you know, the interaction with Beerus, it's like, say something. Which I guess is basically him trying to say to Champa, like, say something other than, you know, sticking your tongue out. And I don't know, it just, I felt that right here. And I know you guys did too, you had to have. Again, unlike the other universes, you know, we like Gowasu, but Universe 6, we kind of grew up with this past 2 years, so seeing them go, it hurt. But hey, this is Dragon Ball. They're all going to come back at the end somehow, whether it be through the Super Dragon Balls or Zeno changes his mind or whatever. They're all going to come back eventually, so I guess it's not a permanent goodbye. I don't really know. With that said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If there's anything I forgot to talk about, feel free to call me out on it, because I always kind of forget, you know, because I literally just watch the episode and sit down and talk with a fresh mind. So I always tend to leave stuff out, in which case, I'm sorry. But feel free to correct me down below if there's anything I missed. But other than that, oh, important. There's a part where basically we see Kami and Nail too, because he gets knocked out, and I don't know what that scene was, but I think it was supposed to be like him tapping into his Namekian. Like it's supposed to be him linking with Saunel and Purina's fusions in a way where it's like it's their spirits of the Namekians and then his spirits with Nail and Kami. So that was also cool to see both of them kind of still there, even though they technically had already disappeared within his conscience, but they're still there somewhere. I think that's what that was supposed to represent. But I cannot talk about that. Wow. I'm sure his comments are already like, hey, how'd you not talk about Kami and Nail? I did. It just was at the end of the video. See, this is what I'm talking about. I always forget to talk about stuff until, you know, I forget about it, and I just last minute remember. With that said, let me know your thoughts on episode 118 down below. If there's anything else I missed, feel free to call me out. A thumbs up the video if you enjoyed the episode as well as this review. But other than that, I guess that's it. I hope you guys enjoy your day. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.